What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Breeders' Cup week, and we are so excited to continue on this roll of doubling down specials, breaking down a ton of the Breeders' Cup races, doing daily doubles. That's the bet that I do on my show every week. It's a cheap bet for the common man, as I like to say. And Keith, you're back again. We're going to take another look at the Juvenile. What's better than this week?
Appreciate you having me, Colin. I know, as a horse player, this is a dream to dive into these PPs, and if you could find a few long shots with these pools, you're gonna get paid. So hopefully, everybody's been making some money this weekend.
Well, we shouldn't say that and start off our first race with the Juvenile, because I think we're going to be. I'm singling a 4 to 5 on the first race here. So for those that are just tuning in that don't really follow horse racing, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile is for 2-year-olds that will run over the dirt at 1 1/16. Remember, these 2-year-olds are a lot of the horses that you're going to see continue through the winter into the spring leading up to the Kentucky Derby. This is actually a Kentucky Derby points race. This race is worth the most points that we've had so far. And the winner of this race generally ends up being the Eclipse 2-year-old champion of the year as well. So with all that said, you have number 3 here, Cave Rock. It's a Bob Baffert horse with Juan Hernandez up. I did a show trying to make a case against Cave Rock. I came up with 3 reasons, and it was very difficult to. This horse has been really strong in his first 3 races. All of his Brisnet speed figures are over 104, 3 triple-digit speed figures to start off. A couple of reasons I had that maybe he wouldn't get the job done. This is only Juan Hernandez's 3rd Breeders' Cup mount. Jose Ortiz, I believe, has 14 Breeders' Cup wins. Rosario has 15 Breeders' Cup wins. So is there a possibility that maybe if Cave Rock doesn't get right out to the lead, maybe Juan Hernandez, the human factor, and I hate throwing the human factor in on jockeys, putting them in that situation, but when you got to come up with something to go against a 4 to 5 Cave Rock, that was what I came up with. You did add somebody else on your ticket here. You went with Lost Ark. How come?
So with Lost Ark, I watched this replay, and of course, this was the great stretch duel of Forte and Loggins. And I was saying in the previous video that with everybody wearing the same colors in the saddle cloth, it was hard to follow who Lost Ark was. But I watched this replay, several times, and I know that Lost Ark was far back and steadied early and checked and really had a tough trip. Horse looked like it really was interested in running though, so I was hoping to see maybe if there was a big speed duel or quick fractions up front, with Cave Rock. And I know the other Baffert runner, National Treasure, who's going to show speed too, adds blinkers. So I just thought that was a interesting angle there, especially, Baffert trains Cave Rock, and then you got National Treasure. It's 2 different ownership groups. So you never know what the request was there also, but it's always live when Baffert adds blinkers. So you never would want to think that the 2 Baffert runners are going to, be on a speed duel, but I definitely wanted to include another price there and, spice things up. Maybe Lost Ark will get a piece, and you never know, could be up at the wire.
The other 2 that I was interested in were Blazing Sevens and Verifying. Verifying 10 to 1 for Brad Cox, Joel Rosario. Blazing Sevens had a pretty good race in the slop last out. And those were the 2 that I was considering maybe putting in over Cave Rock, but I just couldn't really find my way there. So Cave Rock's the single for me, and we move on to the next race. Now, what's so important about doing doubles is when you're leading up to the race, if you look at the probable payouts for your daily doubles, you can get a sense of what it's going to pay out. It's so important when you're putting together your ticket. If you're singling Cave Rock and you've got a couple horses in the next leg like I do, I have 4 horses that I have on my ticket, you got to make sure that the payouts aren't going to be less than what your ticket costs, right? And if you have a strong opinion, maybe you put more money, Cave Rock singled 2 or maybe 1 or 2 horses and do it $10. So play around with that math and make sure that you're not costing yourself money when you're going to have a winning ticket and end up losing. So we move on to race 10, which is the Juvenile Turf going 1 mile, you have some euros shipping in here. The big one shipping in for the euros is 4 Silver Knot for Charlie Appleby with William Buick up 3-1 on the morning line. I decided to leave this horse off my ticket, and that could be the downfall of me. But if you're gonna do Cave Rock to Silver Knot, in my opinion, that's $20 straight double, and you just go Cave Rock, Silver Knot, and don't try to get cute. Keith, you have Silver Knot on your ticket. That might be something you want to play around with, which is taking those two off of this ticket and making them like a $20 and then filling it in with the rest of yours. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right about that. That's a great point with the probables, and maybe when Lost Ark wins, then I'll get my $100 double.
There
but
you
we'll
go.
see.
I like it. Good.
But,
Positive thoughts.
Yeah, it's that's the great thing about doubles, though, and even exactas, that you could see the probables ahead of time, and if you're throwing 2 horses and then you got another short favorite in the second leg, and it's gonna you're actually gonna lose a couple bucks or only win $1 or $2. It's sometimes not worth it, obviously, to lose money. So with Silver Knot, this was Charlie Appleby and Godolphin, and we know what they can do. And this one, actually, as I'm reading some of the comments here and see these great races, William Buick stays on board. We know what he could do, and just as far as the competition goes, I know it disappointed in the Grade 2 Champagne, it says, but then obviously the last effort in Newmarket in the autumn looked very well, and kept on to task, and it looks like a little short than a month. I know with shipping overseas, but this horse looks like it definitely has some talent, and it looks like it could be a formidable favorite. So I wanted to include that one.
Yep, and I strictly looking at value went with the other Euro shipper, the 1 Victoria Road. This horse is a 3-race winning streak coming in to this race. This horse is actually following the same path as Aidan O'Brien's juvenile turf winner Line of Duty, who in the previous race before this had cut back in distance coming into this race, ran a longer race, and then cut back in distance going into the juvenile turf. The jockey says that this horse does just enough to get the job done, which to me possibly means that there's more that he has to give than what you see on the running lines. Hopefully he's figured out in those last 3 races. And so Victoria Road at 8-1 with Ryan Moore is, if you look through these videos as we do these doubles, I haven't included many euros. This is the one that I'm going to take a shot at. And if I really am being honest, Silver Knot's probably the better choice. But from a value perspective, I'm going to take a shot, especially with Cave Rock in that first leg. The other horse that I like is number 6, which I have a list coming out of my favorite horse names of the Breeders' Cup, and 2 of them are in this race. Number 6, And the Winner Is, because if And the Winner Is wins, I can't wait to hear the trainer have to say, and the winner is, and the winner is. It's perfect. And maybe I'm just a nerd for that, but I think it's awesome. And number 3, Curly, Larry, and Mo is my other awesome name of the.
That is a great name.
But going back to this 6, and the winner is at 5-1. Rosario jumps aboard. I'm always paying attention when Rosario is and what he's doing on the turf. This horse has won twice at Keeneland, including a Grade 2 last time out with a nice closing kick. I love Rosario on closing kicks on the turf. That's like right up my alley. And then to sign the deal on what's up my alley is I love horses out of Kitten's Joy or by Kitten's Joy, with also Oscar Performance, 2 sires that I just love to see. Usually I like the Kitten's Joys longer than a mile on the turf, but hey, I see those 2 names and I immediately am attracted. And then I see that we both have fallen on a nice little price here, a 6-1 on the 2 Packs of Wallop. What did you see in the 2 that I maybe have also saw?
Yeah, no, it's I definitely saw the Kitten's Joy, and I knew you were going to mention that, especially at the mile too. But with Packs of Wallop, I mean, I've watched these replays, and I know people are going to say, there could be a case of what kind of competition it's beaten in these Grade 3s in Southern California, but I really just was impressed with the kick and how this horse kind of drew off You get Mike Smith aboard, who's obviously very experienced jockey, and it doesn't seem like it's a need to lead type. Could gets a nice post on the inside, but not on the rail, and maybe could just kind of save ground and make a move. And obviously, I just thought it was worth a play. Now 6-1, I'm not sure we're gonna get that price. I think this horse could get bet a little bit. So, but I liked what I saw in the replays, and looked like it really was interested in running, and just the way it won, I was impressed.
Yeah, and I noticed that the speed figures have improved since this horse has moved to the turf, something I like to see. The first race was actually on the dirt and the slop, moved him to the turf, and the improvement has continued to be there. So, another step forward, and this horse is right there, hopefully.
Right.
The other horse I liked was number 13, Major Dude. As we pull up the past performances here, the outside post is obviously not ideal. It's a turf debut for Irad and Pletcher last out, and it was a grade 2 win at 10-1. Horse needs another step forward, but at 10-1, I like those connections enough to include. The breeding is there for 17% on the turf. Bolt Oro usually is a horse that I had it in my head that this Bolt Oro always, the success has always been at much shorter distances. I'm going to scratch out that bias and try and take a shot here with Major Dude at 8-1. You had two other horses on yours. I'm Very Busy and Reckoning Force.
Yeah, so thank you. You made a good case there, and then with those connections, of course, and then I'm Very Busy. This is also a connection play for me that I liked. With Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt. Now I know this horse, had a lot of hype on its debut, and ran very well, strong finish, and last time got that yielding turf course. I guess that's going to be one of my main angles, because I touched it on another video, is that now we're going to have a firm turf, and if it could get back to its good form. It's only run twice, so I think there's some talent there. Chad Brown, and I'm just looking at these workouts, and 9-2. I just think it would be a square price if I can get that with Cave Rock and I'm Very Busy. Could pay.
How about that 20-1 shot?
That one, actually, I looked at the replay. This is one of my bombs here, is that I just watched this with Keeneland, and in the Bourbon grade 2. And this was another one that it was a troubled trip, just like Lost Ark, and was bumped and squeezed. And, if it could just get the right setup, was in Keeneland, and you never know. This is also Gaffleone jumps aboard for Brendan Walsh. So those another some good connections, and we'll see what happens with that.
Adding blinkers as well. If you're going to bet on the Breeders' Cup, be sure to do it at PlayUp Racebook. Right now, you'll receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Free money, baby. Deposit $100 or more before the Breeders' Cup, and they're going to give you an additional $25 free wager. Don't give up free money, Keith. Sign up.
That's it.
So I single Cave Rock, and I went 1-2-6-13 for a $4 ticket. Pay attention to those probables in the daily double pools. Keith went 3-8, Cave Rock and Lost Ark, with the 2-4-8-11. Keith, good luck. Enjoy the racing this
Appreciate
weekend.
it.
It's the best weekend that we can look at, right?
You too, now. I appreciate you having me, Colin. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be action-packed, and sure, Twitter will be a lot of activities, so it's a great time to be a horse player.
And I'll see you in some stable duels?
Of course. Hopefully, I'll be, trying to edge you out still, but I know you're going to get me one of these days, Colin. That's for sure.
Hey, what'd you beat me by? 2 points last week.
I don't know. I think like 4 points. So just by a head, Right. Yeah, you're doing very well, though. So I'll see you in the winner's circle. Yep.
Trust the Profits Breeders' Cup coverage is brought to you by PlayUp Racebook, the most horse player friendly racebook in the industry. PlayUp Racebook is always your best bet.